Hey everybody, so today we're going to look at this micro camera and VTX all-in-one combo. It's the Eachine EF-01 and it looks a lot like the FX798T that I've shown on my channel before. It comes with this sort of metal case on the outside. Let's see how much that weighs. It could add a lot of weight. So you get a 3-leaf clover antenna on top, and the coax here isn't, it's not as flexible as on the 798T, so if you crash, it's probably going to bend these lobes here, and just from pushing on these, I can tell these are already a lot thinner than the ones that are on the FX798T. So this will definitely bend quite a bit more than the FX version, especially since this doesn't give. The FX798T, the coax is very flexible. This is extremely stiff. So the advantage of having this flexible, well, this antenna here, like in this way, is kind of diminished. It does have the same button here to change your bands and your channels, so that's nice. And additionally, this camera has the ability to switch from NTSC and PAL. So there isn't a lot that comes in the box. You get the box, you get a little instruction sheet here, and some specs here in the back, as well as your channel map. And you get a little micro JST connector. It's a 1.25 millimeter pitch connector, and that goes to the back of the camera right here, and then you would use the other side to solder to your power source. So looking at the features here, you get a 150 degree field of view. It says it's about 8 grams, and that's significantly heavier than the FX798T, which comes in about 4.5 to 5 grams. And then it has some instructions here on how to change your channels. Your short press, so 1 second or less. Long press is about more than 1.5 seconds. That'll change your band. And then an extra long press of more than 3 seconds will switch from NTSC to PAL. And it says here that if the blue LED is on, then you're on NTSC. If you have no blue LED, then you're on PAL. So it looks pretty straightforward. Okay, so here's the Eachine EF-01 on the left, next to the FX798T on the right. This is the updated camera from FX with the coaxial antenna and improved antenna design. So you can see here that the FX with the case on is a little bit wider. And if you look at it from the side, the Eachine case looks a little bit wider from the side, and the lens is definitely a lot longer. So let's see if we can't. Let's look at it from the bottom next to each other. And here you can see the difference in the lens length. It's much longer on the Eachine. And here's a look at them from behind. And this is what it looks like from the top. You can get a sense of what each of the clover leaves look like. The Eachine one looks a lot bigger. A little bit more flattened out, it looks like, compared to the FX. Also, looking at this connector, it appears the polarity is reversed compared to a typical E-flite battery. So here on the diagram, it shows that the positive is going to be on the right and the negative on the left. And it also shows it here on the back as well. So when you plug this in here, then it looks like this. However, I'm pretty sure that the E-flite batteries are the other way around. So here's an example of a the other end of the connector, or this is I guess the male side, and this is actually the opposite. So if I pull this out, I connect both of these up together, you can see that the red and the black don't match up. And so on these E-Flight connectors, I have the same connector here. If I plug this in the normal way, and I'll check this with a multimeter, but the red should be positive, so we'll just check that right now. Okay, so I just verified with a multimeter that if you plug in this battery the way it is right now into this camera, it'll probably smoke it because the polarity is reversed. So just be aware that you should have the correct polarity when you power up this camera. Okay, well, let's get a little weight measurement here. And actually hovers about 8, yeah. So it says it's about 8 grams, 9 grams, somewhere in there. That's pretty accurate. You might be able to shave a little bit of weight off by taking this case off here. There's a metallic case and also plastic backing or metallic backing. Okay, so guys, I took the case off. It's just this front metal piece here and a little backing right here. And it's just take off the 2 screws. It's pretty easy, just pops right off. And let's take a weight measurement of this. So without the case, my scale reads about 7 grams. So looking at this connector, you can see that the positive is over on the right, and this is reversed for what most standard connectors are for the 1.25 millimeter JST connectors. As you can see here, this is a regular connector, and this is not the one that came with the camera. The one that came with the camera is actually reversed, where the positive is on the right. So if you were to wire up something with positive on the left like this and you would plug it in, that would definitely fry the camera. However, now that I got the case off, it should be fairly easy to slide this connector off, like so. You just pull on a little bit. Be careful not to yank it off in case it's stuck on. It's not glued on or anything, so you just flip it over, and then you can just stick it back on. And then they'll have the connector reversed, so that when you have the standard connectors with this side on the bottom, it'll go in correctly where the positive is on the right hand side. Now, you have to remember that if you do this, don't use the connector that came with the camera. It'll be reversed again. Might be easier to just take the connector that came with the camera and just swap these pins. So if you already have a lot of cable like this, where you don't want to reverse these wires, then it'd be easier just to flip this connector over, and that way you can just remember that that's standard, and then just correct the non-standard cable that came with the camera. So this is one way to do that. So you have to remember all the time, oh, is it the right way or the wrong way? And then if you can't remember, plug in the wrong connector, and then you destroy the camera. So that's just something that you should be aware of, that you could probably just flip this over and you should be good. Okay, so I powered it on. Looks like we're on band F, channel 1, and we're got the blue light, so we're should be on NTSC. Let's see what this looks like in the FPV monitor. So this is the image that's being broadcast from the camera to my FPV monitor. Looks pretty clear. Okay, this image looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and do some field testing now. Okay guys, so I'm just here at the park. I'm just going to do a quick side-by-side test of these two cameras, the Eachine EF-01 and the FX758T. Got two different DVRs here going and two different channels, so let's see how it goes.